Where is your heart truly at? This is the challenge Jesus invites all of his disciples to reflect upon in this 8th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Where's our heart at? I want to share a story before we begin. Years ago, I went grocery shopping, in a big supermarket. And you can just imagine a supermarket. There's just a variety of everything. There's the meat, the produce section, the dairy section, etc. And remember, in this particular grocery store, supermarket in particular, there's a lot of different items on sale. And one of the big things on sale this time around was kiwi, the fruit kiwi. And I remember there were many different people there picking out the different kiwis. And, I figured, okay, well, everyone's going after this, and so maybe I should go buy some myself. After all, I do really like kiwi a lot. So what I did is I took a bag and then I started just throwing different kiwis into this bag. And I remember as I was doing that, there was a lady stopping me and saying, no, don't do that. You have to pick and choose. She started to explain, saying, some are good and some aren't so good. You have to touch it and feel it. Make sure it's not too hard, make sure it's not too soft, etc. And then she showed me. And then after all that, I was thinking in my head, okay, wow, what a waste of time. So after all that said and done, I started, just piling kiwi into this bag. And then I took it to the checkout stand, paid for it, took it home, and started trying them out. Now you can imagine what they taste like. Let me tell you, one was very sour, another was very bitter, another tasted very strange, and another felt rotten. Just in general, that whole bag of kiwi wasn't so good, right? Piling them all in there. And so where do I want to go here? Well, in the gospel reading today, Jesus makes it very clear to us. He says, a good tree does not bear rotten fruit. And he goes on to say, nor does a rotten tree bear good fruit. For every tree is known by its fruit. Very interesting. Now, Jesus isn't just referring to the actual fruit, like kiwi or apples, etc., but he's referring here to spiritual fruit. You see, the fruit of our everyday life. So what lies at the very heart of your life? By the fruit it produces. For example, if you are living a life of love, of charity, of honesty, of integrity, embracing the virtues our Lord teaches us, such as loving God and our neighbor, when we do that, we know that our heart is at a good place. We know that we are producing good spiritual fruit. Now, on the contrary, if we are feeling mad and angry and frustrated all the time, if we feel lust and greed and envy, lazy, selfishness, vengeful, don't want to do anything for anyone, always disappointed, that's where our heart's at. We realize something is wrong. We realize something is wrong. Now imagine, would you rather spend time with someone who is charitable, who's loving, who's gracious, who has all the virtues? Or would you rather spend time with someone who's angry and mad and disappointed all the time and has very negative outlooks on life and everything else in between? Think about it. Where is your heart at? Now, Jesus continues in the gospel reading and tells us a good person out of the store of goodness in his heart produces good, but an evil person out of the store of evil produces evil. For from the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Now, in order for us to understand truly where our heart is at, it's important for us to, number one, be honest, and number two, make a good examination of conscience. I made a series of videos on how to make a good confession. You can search for it, maybe up here or around, how to make a good confession. And in it, we go through the examination of conscience. It's really good for us just to examine our conscience and really see where our heart is at. Now, I truly believe this. I believe honesty is very important because if we want to change, we cannot just change by appearance, on the outside. We have to change also what's on the inside. Think of the fruit example I just shared. On the outside, it may look really nice. But how does it taste on the inside? You see, Jesus judges our heart too on the inside. Now, if we're simply trying to mask an appearance on what happens on the outside so that others can see and we're not true to ourselves, there is no way we can produce spiritual fruit. And even something clearer here, over the course of time, we will finally reveal our true self, because you can only mask the outside for so long. You can only be pretentious on the appearance level for so long. And so our character then is based on our words and our actions. Don't focus on just the external appearances. Focus on what's in your heart. What are some things, for example, that you can change from within? Change your heart, good character, virtues, etc. That's Jesus' challenge for us this Sunday. Now, something else for us to consider as well is don't focus on other people's faults. You know, we're so easy to judge. We're so easy to walk around saying, this person committed this crime or this sin. This person's bad, etc. Don't judge other people's faults, right? Look at our own. Look at our own. And at times, it can be very difficult to do. It's easy to focus on other people's sin, but it's not so easy to focus on our own sin and on our own challenges. Jesus then, in the gospel, tells us, why do you notice the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not perceive the wooden beam in your own eye? That's a challenge for us. And so where is our heart at? Now, if you don't know where to begin to change our heart, to have this change of heart, so that we can follow Jesus more readily, look to Jesus and to the saints throughout the ages, for example. They teach us the pathway to holiness. May God bless you, and may you bear spiritual fruit.